So lying down on the mat with your knees bent or your legs straight, spend a few minutes just letting go of anything that's on your mind that's working, like to-do lists or something that happened or what you're going to have for lunch, whatever kinds of monkey mind things preoccupy you, and just begin to follow your breath. On your exhales, notice how your body is settling into the surface. If some areas don't seem to want to relax, you can imagine that you're breathing into that area. And then in your exhale, you just want to feel that area of your body just soften and let go. Let's take one deep breath in through the nose and just allow it to slowly come out through the mouth. So let's begin. Let's inhale deep into the belly, all the way up to the collarbones, and then slowly exhale. And we'll begin let's begin our joint release now. Going to begin by keeping your knees bent or straight. I like to keep my knees bent with these joint release moves because it makes me relax a little bit more in the upper body, but it's totally up to you. So we're going to begin by just gently nodding your head from side to side, keeping the shoulders heavy on the mat. Inhaling to one side, exhaling to the other. Tucking the chin in slightly. And then come back to center. And we're going to do our shoulder release by take the t-shirt off. So you're going to take your arms, and you're going to cross them and place your hands on your opposite hip. And then you're going to reach up like you're going to take off your shirt. Up overhead, and then open up your arms and come down. And we'll repeat that. And try to cross your arms in the opposite direction. If you can remember, like the arm that's on top, when you get up here, make sure it's down on the bottom when you come back. So listen to your shoulders. Only take the arms as wide as it feels comfortable. Feeling the stretch in a good way. Great movement to get the whole shoulder joint activated. See if you can, and don't force it, but if you can take your arms up and just leave them up overhead. If they don't make it down onto the mat, just open up your arms so you can get your whole arm on the mat. If you can get your whole arm on the mat overhead, just stay here for just a breath or two. Tuck the shoulder blades in, lengthen out the spine, maybe do some tip and tuck of the tailbone. Nice deep breaths. These simple movements, moving the prana through the body. And then slowly bring the arms down. You can take them out to the side slightly. Take your feet out to the edges of the mat or beyond and begin to do your windshield wiper motions. Again, inhaling to one side, exhaling to the other. Getting into those attachments where the thigh meets the hip. And then come back to center. Walk your feet in and just bring those knees into your chest. Placing your hands on top of your shins or behind your thighs. Drawing the knees in. And again, we're going to stay here for just a bit to allow those thighs to settle down over the belly. And then extend your feet up to the ceiling. Just kind of pedal pushing, like bicycling, just to kind of see if you can lengthen out the backs of the legs. Those pesky hamstrings get so tight. We're just going to invite them to loosen up, doing a little bicycling. You can add in your feet, flexing and extending. And then let's go the other direction. Pressing into your belly button, get a little ab work here. And then bring the legs straight up. See if you can push out through those heels and get those legs as straight as possible. Put your hands on either sides of your thighs. Keep the shoulders and the elbows on the mat and then open up the legs. Get some inner thigh stretch here. Keep that belly button tacked down to the mat. Two more breaths like this. And then draw the knees in and bring the soles of the feet together. So the soles of the feet are touching. And then bring those feet down and drop those knees open to the mat. Now, if your knees don't land on the mat, you can always put pillows under your thighs or under your knees so that you're not straining in this butterfly pose. So we're going to stay here for just a bit, just to feel that great opening. This is a wonderful way to get the connective tissues of the lower pelvis and the thighs to open up. Focus on your breathing. There's a great thing to say. I say it sometimes when I'm feeling a little scattered. When I breathe in, I say, I am breathing in. And when I breathe out, I say, I am breathing out. Really grounds, it's very grounding. Keep softening. 2 more breaths. Belly to collarbones, nice deep inhales and complete exhales. Use your hands to draw the knees together. I'm going to give you an option here. We're going to come up onto our sides. So we're going to support the head. You can support your head by putting some pillows underneath your head, or you can use your roller. Sometimes I use my roller, put it underneath my head. And I'm also going to support my legs here. So we're going to come down. I don't care what side you come down on. Just come down on a side and bring that arm. I might use another pillow here. Make sure your head isn't wonky. Keep it in line with your spine. And I'm going to take a pillow and I'm going to put it between my knees so I can really feel that I'm aligned, that I'm right up on my hip and I'm not going either too forward or too backwards. So putting a pillow between your legs does help you stay stable. And also imagine that you're again, I've said this before, wearing tight jeans so that you keep your belly tucked in. So the hand that's closest to the mat is stretched out, nice straight arm, and the top hand is straight on top of that. And you want to not be hunched up. You want to make sure that your shoulders are a good distance away from your ears. So we're just going to begin by sliding that top hand forward and back. So the shoulders are moving, but the hips are still. Kind of like when I used to do rock and roll in the 60s. Okay. You feel that shoulder blade sliding as you go forward. Really see if you can slide it out. Slide it back. And then one more. And then rest that top hand on the bottom hand. And we're going to keep our attention on the hand that's on the mat. And we're going to inhale the arm open. Oh. And exhale it closed. Inhale, open. Exhale, closed. So probably feeling this in the collarbone and the front of the shoulder. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, closed. With awareness, not too fast. Exhale, closed. So we're going to do some more, but we're going to focus our attention now on the hand that's on top. So we're going to inhale the arm open, sweeping the torso around. Exhale, closed. Again, keeping the belly steady though. So nothing's moving below the waist. We're just rotating those hips just like a Barbie doll does. Rotate. Big breath in as you open. We've got 2 more. Last one. And you can hold this one open. Keep those hips right angle to the mat. See if you can relax the shoulder, coming into a twist here. Squeeze the knees together. And then bring that arm back. And pause for a moment. We're going to do some leg lifts now. So I'm going to come up on my elbow to do the leg lifts. Straighten out your legs. So again, we're at a right angle to the mat. Shoulder is in line with the elbow and the ear. So just stay here for a minute. You feel a nice stretch on the side of the body. As we begin to leg lift, your arm's going to want to collapse down. So you want to just kind of be mindful of that and keep checking in to see if your arm is collapsed. If it's too much to hold this pose, you can come down onto the pillow again and just lift your legs that way. So we're just going to lift the leg up. We're more interested in alignment than sweeping that leg up. So you don't want to raise it too fast. You want to raise it slow. You get more muscular engagement. So you inhale up. You do 5 more. And see if you can hold the last one up, staying aligned. And then bring the leg down. And we'll do 10 clam shells. So again, we're going to take the legs at an angle here. And I'm going to lift up. Do 10 of those. Nice, slow. Do them nice and deliberately. Keep the alignment. Feel that in your glute medius here. And then let's just come down on the mat for a moment to feel the rebound effect. This is not a yin pose, but it's nice to just check in and notice the sensations that you feel. We've done the right side now and not the left. So notice if there's a different feeling, like flatter or heavier or whatever you may notice. All right, we're going to do the other side. So I'm going to switch directions so I can still see you. And I'm going to use my roller this time. So place your head on your pillow or your roller. Place your bottom arm nice and straight and the top arm on top of it. Keep the ears away from the shoulders. Tuck in that tummy. And we're just going to slide that hand forward and back. Inhale forward, exhale back. And come back to neutral. And keeping your attention on the hand that's closest to the mat, we're going to sweep the other arm up and back. Squeezing onto that pillow helps me keep my hips from straying. Two more. And now keeping the awareness on the hand that's on top and moving. Just going to inhale, open. Exhale, close. And then do that 4 more times. And on your last one, see if you can open up and hold the position. See if you can get that shoulder down to the mat. And come back. And we're going to do some leg lifts on this side. So I like using the roller, and this way I switch to it because I feel like I've got a little support here when I have my roller under me. Okay, so again, nice right angle to the mat, up on the elbow if it works for you. Align the elbow and the shoulder, and we'll do 10 leg lifts. And this side may be, your leg may be more or less flexible. Hold leg up, hold, 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 and release. Clam shells, bend those knees, bring them up, opening and closing the top leg. So again, come down on your back. Just stay here for a minute. Checks to see how both sides feel now that they've both been activated. And we're going to come to seated. I'm going to offer you the opportunity to roll up and down your spine. Really good for the spine. Just roll up and down. And then if you can roll all the way up to seated and come to a seated position. If you can't, just come up to seated and grab a little bit of water. I have lots of pillows today because we're going to do some poses in our Yin practice that require us to stay in the poses a little bit longer than we normally do. So I want you to be able to relax in the poses. So the first one is called caterpillar pose, and it's actually forward folding. So I tend to put something under the knees for this because that makes it easier to stay in the pose for a longer period of time. Protects the knees, makes the hamstrings happy. And then I tend to put a lot of pillows on top of my legs. I'm telling you, I can't have enough pillows in my opinion. So that when I fold forward, I am not straining. I could really relax in the forward fold. So I tend to I start with quite the pile. And if I start to relax and I feel like I could lower more, I just remove a pillow. So we're going to come into this forward fold. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to imagine that your heels are going out a little bit more. Push your heels out, make your legs longer, send your hips back. And we're going to stay in this pose for 3 minutes. So I want you to get as comfortable as possible. So you're just going to fold over your props and relax your head and neck. So when I first started doing this, I thought, oh, I don't need the props. I'm going to soldier on. But then I said, why should I? Why don't I make myself as comfortable as possible? Why strain? So if you need more to relax your back, put more props on. And just allow yourself to sink forward. This is a great stretch and stress on the fascia in the back chain. Soften those shoulders. Relax the thighs. Take a deep breath in. Slowly walk your hands back. If you propped yourself, move your props out of the way. Bend your knees. Place your hands behind you. Lift up your heart and just do some windshield wiper movements from side to side. So we're going to keep the legs in the windshield wiper position. We can take your left leg and see if you can bring it behind you. And then take your right leg and bring it in front of you, sort of like a pinwheel shape. If you need to put some pillows under your knees to feel okay, do that. You can also put a pillow under your other hip if it helps you sit up straighter. Again, this is a yin pose, so we want to make sure that you're completely relaxed in the pose, or it doesn't do any good. You can't relax the tissues if you can't relax. So make yourself as comfortable as possible. If you need to bring your leg more forward, you can bring it back further, whatever works in your body. So find your happy spot. And we're going to do a forward fold. Well, to this, a side fold. It's a little bit of a twist movement. So again, more props, the better. So I'm going to take a prop. So this is my left leg is behind me. My right leg is in front of me. And I'm going to bring my hands down on either side of my prop and lie down on the prop. So again, if you need more pillows to feel comfortable over here, in this side stretch, go for it. So we'll give you a couple of seconds to get set up, and we're going to stay here for 2 minutes. So turn and face your props, could be bedroom pillows, whatever, and we're going to fold over. If you can just go like this, if it's too much to start, you may feel your back release a little more. And then come down on the prop. You can have your head facing the legs, or you can have it facing the twist, whatever works for your neck. Once you're in your position, try to soften. I think this is the pose that got me through the worst part of the winter of the pandemic. I don't know why. Take a deep breath in. Walk your hands back and slowly come up. Slide that back leg around to the front. And stretch your legs out in front of you. Take your hands wide. Just lift up your heart again. Take some breaths here. And we're going to do that on the other side. So again, you can do get your props ready. Said, boy, I needed more props. Grab them now. You didn't need as many? Oh, well, good. So we're going to windshield wiper the knees a few times. And then drop the knees to the other side. So I'm going to take my right leg back. Left leg is in front. Make any adjustments you need to make so that you feel that you can sustain. Putting a prop under my left hip does make me sit up a little taller, so I think I like that. So get your bolster or several pillows and place them on the side opposite the back leg. Bring your hands around on either side of your prop, and then slowly make your way down. And relax. Again, check and see how you like your head placed. The further your back leg is back, the more sensation you're going to get in the outside of that hip. Great stretch for that side of the body. Keep searching for any resistance, and if you find it, see if you can let that area soften. Take a deep breath in, let it out slowly, and then begin to walk your hands back. Come around to seated position. Not going to need props for a while. So let's just do one more. Lifting up the heart space. And we're going to come onto hands and knees and into a table pose. You can do this on a chair if you'd like. If you don't want to come down on your hands and knees, you're welcome to use a chair. So we're going to do some cat-cows here. Inhale neutral, exhale round, and then drop the belly and lift the chin. And just continue doing your cat-cows nice and smooth. Try to get some nice undulation in that spine. Keep the shoulders steady. It can be on your hands or on your knuckles. See to feel every vertebra just moving so smoothly. So let's do one more set, one more cow, one more cat, back to neutral. And then we're going to do some thread the needle. So we're going to start by having your right hand firmly on the mat, lift that left arm up, and then thread it through. We'll do that 4 more times. Inhale up, exhale thread. Inhale up, exhale. Do one more. Think. Hold it up, reach, 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 and drop the hand down. So we'll do the other arm. Inhale up, exhale thread, up, last one, exhale thread. And if you're on the mat, you can come into a child's pose, legs wide or straight. If you're on the chair, you can sit in the chair and just feel the sensation. So you come down into your child pose. Knees still kind of sore from an accident. So. And then slowly come back up to your table. We're going to come up into down dog. So if you're on the chair, you're just going to take your hips up behind you and lengthen out those legs. So we're going to push into the arms, pedal those heels up and down. Keep pushing that tailbone skyward. Get some good length in the spine. And then hold the down dog for 3 breaths. Nice ujjayi breaths with help here. And then we're going to walk those feet and hands in and come to standing. I'm going to have a sip of water here. Some more. All right, so let's come into mountain pose. Press those feet firmly into the mat. Micro bend the knees a few times. Lengthen the spine, drop the arms down, fingertips towards the mat. Take some breaths here, feeling the strength of the mountain pose. And then let's come up and down on our toes a few times. See if you can stay up on your toes. Find your focal point with your eyes. Stay on the whole sole of your foot. Don't let your feet wonk in or out. See if you can stay on the whole foot, the center of the foot. And then come down. Okay. So today we're going to do a standing routine that involves wide legs and warriors. So just begin to take your legs a comfortable distance apart. Keep the feet parallel, straight ahead. Keep a little bit of a bend in the knees. Place your hands on your hips. And we're just going to fold forward halfway. Keep reaching out through the crown of the head, lengthening the spine, isometrically drawing the legs together, which gives you more stability. Reach, reach, reach with that head. And then bring the hands down onto a block or to the mat. Relax the back. Bend the knees, alternately bend the knees. We're going to do a pose called Skandasana, which is just straightening out one leg and bringing the hands to the other leg with a little bend in the knee. And then walking the hands back, straightening the opposite leg and bending. So you can do it as slow as you want. Just trying to get some flexibility and some length in those muscles on the inner thighs. If you feel like you've got a little rhythm going, you can start to go a little bit faster, kind of like sweeping motion. But listen to your body. And then hold to one side so you can stretch out the other leg. Keep the outside of the foot on the mat. And then take the hands over, and we'll do that on the other side. Come back to center. Walk the feet in slightly and roll up. Come together and come back into mountain for a moment. Back pose can be a little dizzying. So we're going to do a brief warrior 2 sequence. So we're going to take the feet wide apart again. I'm going to take my left foot and turn it to the left, keeping my hips open. Take my right leg back. Slight bend in that right foot. Arms up, look out over the left hand. Warrior 2. Pulse a little bit into that front leg. And then we're going to make some circles with the arms. 2. Drop that arm down on the back leg. Turn the front hand palm up and raise up the arm. Bend that front arm at the forearm. Drop it down onto the front thigh. Sweep that back arm up and over into side angle pose. Slowly come back up into our warrior 2. And then let's come back to center and pause for a moment. Feel that prana. So we'll do the other side. Take the legs wide again. Turn your right foot this time out. Bend the knee. Take the left leg back. Keep the hips facing forward if possible. They're going to want to turn. It's okay if they turn a little bit. Bring your arms up. Look out over that right palm. And take the back arm, and we'll just make a couple of circles here. Drop that arm down onto the thigh. Lift the front hand so the palm is up. Reach up. Reverse warrior, dancing warrior. Bend that front arm. Bring that forearm down onto the front thigh. Sweep the back arm up. Open up. Side angle. Slowly come up. Warrior 2. Bring the arms down and come back to center. Pause here for a moment. We're going to come into tree pose. So just take a moment to recenter yourself. And I'm going to grab a little water. So come into your mountain pose for tree and bring your hands with thumbs at the heart space. Let's turn the right foot out to the right. Weight is on the left foot. Micro bend in the left knee. Draw that right heel in. Check your alignment. Make sure that your core is strong. Find a focal point and find your center and groundedness. And if you feel balanced, you can lift up that foot. And if you want, you can bring your arms up. And then float them down. Back to prayer. We'll do the same on the other side. Take the left foot out. Draw that heel into your ankle. Root down on the right foot. Micro bend in the knee. Weight on the knee. Find your center. Find your focal point. And if, only if you feel centered, you can lift up that foot. And slowly bring that down. Back to center. Back to mountain. Notice how different it feels now that we've done a little routine in centering from standing. We're going to make our way back down to the mat. So we're going to micro bend those knees and start rolling vertebrae by vertebrae from your head. Relax those shoulders and just slowly, slowly, bone by bone, press into those feet, roll down. Bend the knees so that you can grab the mat, and then we're going to make our way back down onto the back. On your back. And just take a few breaths here, noticing any sensations. We're going to do a Yin pose that combines two poses. First thing we're going to do is figure four. So bend both knees and bring them in so that they're fairly close to your buttocks, but comfortable. And then we're going to cross that right ankle over the left knee. And we're going to stay here for a little bit to allow that right hip to really soften in the hinge. Sometimes when we do this pose as a hatha yoga pose, we don't stay here long enough to get the release. We should ideally already have the release. So to stay here and breathe and soften that right hip. So once your right hip is open to its comfort, you can draw the left knee in. Keep relaxing the right hip. Place your hands behind your left thigh, or you can use a strap if your shoulders don't want to relax in this position. Again, we're going to soften through that right hip a little bit more. Nice full breath, soften, soften, soften. Surrender is another word I like to use. So let's surrender for a couple more breaths. I'm going to lengthen out that left leg then. Lengthen it right out. And then release the arms, bring them to either side of you. And we're going to roll over on to your left side. And you can take that top leg if you want. You can curl it around the bottom leg, or you can take the bottom leg back behind you. So try to keep both shoulders on the mat. And we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes in this twist. If you want, you can prop that leg if it's hanging up in the air. Makes it relax a little bit more. As far as your head is concerned, you can keep gazing at the ceiling, or you can try to gaze over your right shoulder. It gives you even more of a twist and more stretching in the upper body. Some people also like to bring their arms up overhead in this twist. Whatever works for you, and try different things on different days, because some days you might be very flexible and it's easy to do some of these moves, and other days it may just be you want to take the easiest, most gentle iteration of a pose. To listen to our bodies, not force them. So very, very slowly untwist, come back to the center, and just pause for a moment. Leave your knees bent. So we're going to take that left leg, cross it over the right knee, and allow that left hip to soften in that socket. Just really, just let it hang out. And then we're going to draw that right knee in, place the hands behind the right thigh. And again, keep inviting that left hip to open up. Both sides are probably different. And then lengthen out that right leg. And we're going to roll over to the right here in the twist. So bring your arms out to the side. I'm going to bend my right knee this time and just kind of roll over to the right. Keep that left shoulder on the mat. You can lengthen out your right leg, or you can keep it bent. We're going to come into a twist here for 2 minutes. Again, prop that knee if it's hanging out in the wind here. That way your thigh will relax, your hip will relax, and the fascia will be more comfortable releasing. So we're not really getting into muscles here. We're trying to stay in connective tissue, ligaments, fascia, tendons. And if you want to try to bring your arms overhead, it can feel different on both sides. So one side, you may be able to feel comfortable doing this, and on the other not. So you want to try it on both sides. So slowly unravel from that side, knees back to center. Bring your knees to kiss each other and take your feet a little distance apart. Place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. This is called constructive rest pose. It's a nice way to rebound from a yin pose. And then we'll come into the final pose of the class, Shavasana. So you can keep your knees bent if you want. You can put a bolster under them, or you could just lengthen them out. Maybe placing something under your neck, whatever works, so that you can integrate the practice for today. So just let everything soften from the tip of your head to the end of your toes. So start to get some movement back in your body by wiggling your fingers and toes and gently nodding your head from side to side, deepening your breath. And then take your arms up overhead and stretch your toes out in front of you and take a big stretch. And roll over onto your side. Pause here for just a breath or two before we transition up to seated. And then make your way up to seated and bring your hands to heart center. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And let's close with the saying, may all beings be happy and free, and may our thoughts, words, and actions contribute in some small way to the peace and harmony of this planet. Namaste.